Hello, my name's host Eric. I'm talking to famous people. I'm here with famous person Wabal. I bet you I'm mispronouncing that. Am I?
I don't really know how to pronounce it though. It doesn't really matter. It's just Babel. Yeah,
So
I
I've
make
I've
a
I've
yeah.
noticed you in the room a couple of times, and it's normally been quite crowded in here when I've seen you. I'm obviously very curious to know about you. Would you like to answer some typing questions, or are you interested in having me just interview you about your life, or anything like that?
I can answer some typing questions. Just ask questions. If I
Sure,
don't want to answer, I won't answer.
sure, sounds good. Okay, first question. Do you prefer rainy days or sunny days?
Rainy days, definitely.
Okay. Do you like to go outside even though when it's raining? Or do you like to stay inside when it's raining? Do you like the coziness or do you like the wetness?
Uh, Depends on how bad the rain is.
Okay.
It's not like if it's just drizzling, I really like it. But if it's like if I get soaked in 5 minutes, I don't.
I want you to think of two landscapes.
I
One is a
sometimes
wide.
take walks in the forest because you have
Okay.
hmm?
Imagine two landscapes. One is a wide
Your
open
audio is
field. Are you having trouble hearing me?
yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. I want you to imagine two landscapes. One is a wide open field. There's like knee-high grass or so and sort of gently rolling hills. Only one or two scattered trees. Big open space. Or the second landscape is very craggy, canyony,
You're
rocky
falling away
area.
sometimes. I can
Okay, the second landscape is very craggy, mountainy, jagged rocks kind of area where you can walk through it, but you can't really ever see the open space around you. So, are we having connection problems?
which one do I prefer?
Yeah, which one do you prefer?
Is that your question?
Yeah.
Um, I think the first one.
Okay.
I don't really have that many rocks around here, so
Okay. If you were to be in your ideal relationship, would your significant other be more likely to lead, follow, or be exactly equal to you? In your
that's a
ideal,
hard question.
in your dream
I
relationship, not
think
in
I
any real
think
world one.
exactly equal, but in reality, it turns out to be leading, probably.
Okay. Um, do you think truth is discovered or created?
Discovered.
Are you from a country other than America?
Yeah, I'm Dutch.
You're Dutch. I was trying to figure out the accent. I couldn't tell what it was. It's a hard one, Dutch. It it sounds
Well,
kind of
yeah, I've I don't know.
what.
I've had quite a lot of English education, so my accent's probably also a bit riddled because of that.
Right.
And I'm tired right now, so
And were
and
you
I
trained
live
in?
with two Irishmen.
Oh, I see. Okay, there it is. Yeah, so you
That
have a lot of British English as opposed to American English in your accent, not in your word choice necessarily. Um, okay, that's interesting to know. So now I want to ask you something. Why is it that people who live in the Netherlands are called the Dutch, even though Germany is called Deutschland.
I have no idea.
And
It's not. It
is
doesn't
it?
really make sense. In Dutch, we don't call like it's only in English that you have that weird that weird axiom. In Dutch, in Dutch, we call the Netherlands the Netherlanders. So it's it's
You don't call
something
yourself?
special the English have
No,
invented, I guess.
no. It's is it the same as? No, those are the Danes. That's not the same as Denmark, right? What's Netherlands has another? Oh, Holland. That's what it's called. Why are you called two names? Why are you called Holland and the Netherlands, and yet you're called the Dutch?
Holland,
That makes
Holland
no
and Netherlands
sense.
are not. Holland and Netherlands are not the same thing. It's just
They're,
two provinces in the Netherlands,
they're two
and
provinces.
that's the most. Yeah, Holland is the two of the western provinces in the Netherlands, and it's the most prosperous provinces really. But that's why sometimes people call Netherlands Holland, but Netherlands is far bigger than just Holland.
So
Um,
Holland's not a
but
country? Are
the
you telling me
Dutch,
Holland's not a country? That's
you can call
crazy.
it a country, but it really is not. The
I, I,
country is the
I'm
Netherlands.
happy to learn that. I mean, I'm excited to learn that. I had no idea. I could have sworn Holland was the name of the country, same as the Netherlands, and it was just you could use them interchangeably. That's really interesting to find out.
Uh, it's a nitpicky thing. Even the Dutch do it wrong sometimes.
Hmm. Anyway, that's not about your type. That's just something I've always been curious about. You got in English, we refer to you as the Netherlands or Holland interchangeably, and we call you the Dutch. So, is it near Denmark? It's pretty near Denmark, huh?
Well,
Is it right next to
for
it?
in American terms, yes.
Does it touch the borders touch?
it's it's yeah, it's not right next to it. Like the Germany is in between them, but it's not that far away either.
I see. Interesting.
I think it's like a 400-kilometer drive maybe.
Would you
If I
declare?
had if I had to guess,
Would you call yourself more communitarian or individualistic?
individualistic.
Uh,
That's me speaking though.
right. Um, if I gave you a question that said, "Here are two pieces of information. You're on a game show, and you need to know what's happening in a second room, and you're able to ask me for more pieces of information for the question. What more pieces of information would you want to ask about? What, what would you ask?"
So I'm on a game show.
And your
What
job
is
on the
what is
game
the
show,
objective?
your job on the game show, this is the two things I'm telling you to begin with. You're on a game show, and your job on the game show is to say what's happening inside of that room.
Oh, okay, okay, I missed that. Um, I would ask, are there people inside the room?
Well, that's something you'll have to find out on the show. I'm not asking you to ask questions within the show. I'm asking you to ask me questions about the question. So I want you to say what more information would you need to know to feel comfortable approaching going into this question of figuring out what's in the other room. Right now, all I've told you is your objective, right? So I want you to figure out like, okay, what do I actually need to know besides that to figure out what's going on in the room without asking me anything about what's actually going on in the room.
What size is the room? Um,
Okay, that would be fine to ask.
hmm. Okay, but where do you lay the limit? Like, what, like, can you also ask what objects are in the room?
No, see, then you're
or
asking, then you're trying to answer the question, what's in the room. I'm
okay,
not asking you
describe
to
the
answer that
scene.
question. I want you to ask me questions about how you can approach the question of what's in the room. Because right now,
Mm,
as far as you know, right now, when I say you're on a game show and you have to ask what's in that room, you could be standing by the side of a road looking at a porta potty. I don't know. I've given you no more information than that. What more information do you actually need to figure out what this game is expecting of you and how to get the right answer?
okay, I'm really tired. Um, but how can you figure out what is happening in the room if you cannot ask questions about what is happening in the room? What is
Okay,
the?
well
I'm
here,
sorry.
then let me change the question to the next level of question. So the next level question is here are more details about the game show. You are placed inside of one room, and up above you, about 15 feet high above you, there's a balcony. There's a guy standing on the balcony, and he can see into the other room. And you're told that you've got 10 minutes to figure out what's going on inside the room, and you can ask the guy on the balcony questions. He knows what kind of questions you can ask, but you don't know what kind of questions you can ask, and he'll tell you if it's a bad question to ask.
Oh,
Okay? So, I'm going to try to. I've never asked that previous question before. So the fact that you were unable to answer it is not indicative of anything except the fact that maybe it's an awful question. But what I was trying to get at was I want you to I wanted you to think, well, what do I actually need to know about this? Like I don't know if I would have said this, but what I was imagining would be a possible response would be something like, well, can I see in the room? Can I, you know, where am I standing in relation to the room? That kind of question. But I'll have to refine the question. Obviously, it's confusing. So now that you know the details about the situation, and you've got 10 minutes to figure out what's happening in the room, you can ask the guy questions. Try to figure out what's happening in the room. I do have an answer to this. There is a specific thing happening in the room.
so am I in a position of asking questions now, or am I in a position of asking you what kind of questions I can ask?
Okay, so no.
'Cause that's
Now
what's
I'm the guy on the balcony, and I'm looking in the room. I can see what's happening in the room. I know what's happening in the room, and I know also what kind of questions I'm allowed by the rules of the game show to answer. So you can't just say, "Well, what's happening in the room?" But you don't know exactly what kind of questions you're allowed to ask. Okay, but you can ask him whatever you want, but you don't know which. Let me be more precise. You don't
okay.
know what kind of questions he's allowed to answer.
Can I see in the room?
You can't see in the room. It's high up on a balcony
Is there
above you.
light in the room? Can I see?
Well, you can't tell because this room that you're in is
No, no,
lighted.
no. In the other room.
Right? Are you asking the guy on the balcony, or are you asking
Okay,
me?
no, no, no.
Ask the guy on the balcony.
No.
Okay, now I'm the guy on the balcony.
Oh yeah. Can you? Okay. Can you see into the room? Is there? Can you visually see something, or is
Yes,
it
I
just
can see
dark?
exactly what's going on in the room.
Can you also hear or smell what's going on?
I can't hear what's going on and I can't smell what's going on. There's a glass window in front of me. I'm looking through the glass window into the room, but I know what's going on. I can see it unfolding before me, and I also have been told what's going on. And besides that, I can see it happening.
Does it involve people?
Yes,
You can't answer. Or it does involve people,
yes, it does.
or you can't answer.
No, yes, it does involve people. I can answer and did. I'll tell you, I can't answer that if I can't answer. The answer is yes, it
Mm.
does.
How many people does it involve?
There are three people in the room.
Are they holding any objects in their hands?
One of them is holding a clipboard. One of them appears to be looking at a cell phone, and the third has her head in her hands, like this. He shows you.
Are the people in the room all um, all there because they want to be, or are they there because they have to be there? Because they're for a job or say something.
One of them is working. That's the best answer I can give you for that question.
Sorry, I couldn't hear you.
One of them is working. The other two are not working. That's the best answer I can give you.
Okay. Mm, are, is there an opportunity to sit?
Yeah, only one of the people is standing. The guy looking at the phone.
What is written on the clipboard,
I can't read it.
or
He's
can't you see?
he's taking notes. I can't read it. I mean, I can see clearly enough that he's taking notes on it. I can see that it's words, but I can't actually make them out from here. My eyes aren't that good. So, oh, looks like he wrote
What is the,
unhappy. Maybe he wrote unhappy. I think on there. It could have been unusual. I'm not sure.
is he observing the other people in the room?
No,
Is he just taking notes on the thing and not paying attention to them?
he is taking notes. He is not paying attention to the people.
Is he the person who's working?
Yes.
Are the other persons or one of the other persons is are they there to become happier?
Are any of the people there to become happier? Not directly. I want to just pause for a second and say this. I'm glad that it's just Wabble and I here in the room, and I'm glad that I I want to take my time with this. I'm more attentive to pacing of the video, but I'm enjoying this. This is really interesting. So I'm just going to continue taking my time and let's see how this plays out. I'm curious about it. Go ahead.
Mm, what colors can you see in the room?
I mean, the walls are kind of beige. The guy's wearing blue pants and a green shirt. The lady's wearing, I don't know, some sort of speckledish looking skirt. The guy with the clipboard's wearing a suit. He's got a tie on. Not no jacket though. No suit jacket. Just a button down shirt and a tie. Shirt's red. Tie's white. Pants are gray. And there's also some brown in the room. See some brown color and some
Are
black.
there any other
Any other objects besides what?
any other object in the room next to the seating? Is there anything else?
Yes, there's a dog.
When is a dog an object? I thought it's an animal.
Well, I mean,
Um,
I guess it's still an object. I mean, I don't know. I interpret that as an object. I think of it in sort of philosophy terms, I guess. Agents are objects. Agents are both objects and agents.
okay, but is there it's just okay.
Yes,
But
there's a
is
dog.
there the dog the only other thing that's in the room?
There's
But is it
a
the only other thing in the room
there's a like
next to
a
the people
coffee table.
sleeping?
There's a coffee table with some magazines on it. There's a potted plant. That's it. Oh, I'm sorry. There's a painting on the wall
Are the
too.
people waiting for something?
Well,
Okay.
it's hard to say what they're doing exactly right now, but they're not doing anything active.
Do they interact with each other next or
Oh, yeah.
no? I already know.
Wait. The guy just patted the lady on the shoulder and continued looking at his phone. She glanced up briefly at him, then looked back at her hands again. That's the only interaction I've seen
Do
between
the
them so far.
persons in the room look alike? Do they look like they are family?
Well, I mean, the guy and the lady, they could be potentially husband and wife, but they don't look particularly like the same genetics, if that's what you're saying. I see nothing that says brother, sister, or father, mother, or anything. They're around the same age. They could be husband and wife, but I don't know their exact relationship. I can't tell by
Hmm.
looking at them if they're married or not. I don't. Oh, yeah. Oh, actually, I do see a ring on the lady's finger. I can't tell if the guy's got a ring on his finger or not. His hand's in his pocket. I didn't look before.
Would you say the person working is a psychiatrist or psychologist?
Yes, I would.
Hmm. Yeah, I'm inching towards couple counseling or something like that, but
No, it's dog psychiatry. Dog psychiatry. This the dog. The people are there to have their dog get psychiatric treatment from the doctor. Some people do
why
that.
would the doctor?
Some people do.
Yeah.
Not me, but some people do. That's pretty good though. You really were deliberate in executing through that process. I I'm glad, as I said earlier, that we just let it proceed at normal pacing because normally I probably would have hurried things along for entertainment value, but I'm feeling kind of chill anyway. And then
And kind of slow though.
well, I mean, you calmed me down, right? I'm feeling calm because of your calming ways. So now that we've completed that, let me ask you a couple more actual typing questions. See if I can actually type you. Do you know what type you are? Don't tell me what it is, but do you know?
Approximately.
Okay. I know what I'm leaning towards, but I've got a couple possible things. So, do you feel as though you're more concerned about managing other people's feelings or about deciding about other people with your own feelings? Another way of putting this question is which of the following statements is more like you? Number one, I'm fine. I'm not fussy. Those people might be fussy though, so I'm going to make sure that they're not getting upset about anything so that everything stays cool. Or number two, those people can take care of themselves. I'm worried about how I feel about this, and I'm not particularly happy at the moment, or maybe I might not be happy later, so that's why I'm a little hesitant here. Which of those two?
Number yeah, number two, definitely.
Okay. I think you're an INTJ.
Mm, pretty close.
Yeah, have you gotten INTP?
Yeah, I almost always test this INTP, and I'm pretty sure an INTP, looking at the cognitive functions.
So, yeah, okay, it's possible. It's hard to tell a little bit because you're not a native English speaker, so a lot of what I do INTJ and INTP on, how I tend to type them, is on the verbal cadences, the way that they speak, and the certain lyrical quality to the speaking of an NTP versus a more kind of jagged quality to speaking of an NTJ. And also, NTJs tend to be more terse. They say less, more concise. So
Well,
you're pretty
I've been awake
concise
for
and you're kind
20
of
hours
jagged.
now.
So that's why I thought you were INTJ maybe. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I- I've been awake for 20 hours now, so that might also be the case that's influencing me.
Have you been awake for 20 hours because you're loving life or because you had to work super hard or something?
Because I had to work, but also because, well, yeah, yeah. Now I have to finish something, and now I can't sleep. So,
Right. Well, don't forget, you also need to go to the discotheque. Have you been to the discotheque? I hear they're fond of that in Europe.
some I'm not really a party person.
Oh,
I do it very, very rarely, maybe once in a half a year.
hmm. Interesting. So then, if you're not interested in letting loose as a social activity, what sort of social activities are you into? Do you like to go to the museum? Do you
Mm,
like to go to the beach?
I,
What?
I I wouldn't say I'm not interested in letting loose. Because mm, I do sing a lot with people and
Hmm.
make music. So
Great. Now I want to know about that. So that's super cool. I'm super happy to hear that. I always like to talk to people who make music. What can you tell me about what sort of processes you engage in? Do you record? Do you play in a band? Do you write songs? Do you do electronic music? Give me more specifics.
um, well, first I'm in a cappella choir, so we sing, and sometimes I try to arrange a little bit, but it's not up to the level that I say I really can do this. But I know a little bit of music theory, so yeah, I can do that. I also have a guitar and piano here, and I play those and sing with it. And but I sometimes have ideas, but I never really get to the point of making songs of them or um like I just do it for myself. I guess I just make the music, and I don't really feel the need to share all of it with everyone. But it's fun to make music with other people.
Well, I want to collaborate with you. Do you want to sing one of my songs? I'll put it up on a video. Don't feel obligated to. If you find say no. A lot of introverts are very hesitant about this sort of thing. For me, remember, I put up countless things. So it's just another video, but some of them end up being more special than others. So if you want to, would love to collaborate with you in one of a number of possible ways. Either have you sing one of my songs, or and then I put your vocal track on a recording of one of my songs, or you can send me some of those ideas you say you don't ever do anything with, and I could make those into a song with a sort of collaborative songwriting in that capacity. I could take your ideas and I could add ideas to them and make a song out of that, or whatever you want. I'm down for anything. I like to play.
I don't really think I want to do that.
Okay, that's fine. The other thing is I'm
Unfortunately.
accustomed to rejection in these sort of things. I understand
But
that the world is not doesn't treat the media landscape quite the same way that I do. My attitude towards it is it's all good, including our mistakes. But I know that introverted intuitors, especially, this would be something that lend the credence to the INTJ idea. Introverted intuitors, though, especially, are quite particular about that sort of thing.
mm, well, I have had some bad experiences in the past with sharing music with people, so that it's not it has nothing to do with you. But
That's fine.
I like to keep it to myself mostly.
So, I don't. If you don't want to answer any more questions about that, that's fine. But I'm curious if people have
No,
responded
it's not
poorly
that I
or
don't want to answer questions. I just don't really like, especially for my own music. I just improvise and do it in the moment, and it's not really something. I don't really feel the need to create a song out of it when I just do it for myself. I feel I don't really understand the need to share it with the whole world in that sense.
well, let me approach it from a slightly different angle. I'm not trying to talk you into it. I'm just saying other ways to think about it. Is for me one reason I started putting stuff up on YouTube explicitly at first was not to share it with other people, although I didn't make it private, but was to just give me some place to put my ideas where they're always there. I can find them. They're organized, sort of, at least more so than they are anyplace else. And YouTube has an architecture to it, so I can have a database of my stuff. You know, there's the SI component to it for me a lot, but that's because I have that in my fourth slot. Inverted sensing in my fourth slot means that I have trouble with understanding how my own identity is real or what it means or stuff like that. So it is a great value to me to have all these videos up here, of me failing, succeeding, and everything in between, because it liberates me. It allows me to do what I want to do without worrying about that kind of stuff. Now, I do understand that there's an alternative artistic experience that is not identity driven so much as experience driven. It says, I have my identity solid. I know what it is. I know who I am, and I know what it means to be me. And so when I do things for my own spiritual purposes, I see no reason to make permanent objects out of those things. They don't add to my identity in a meaningful way. For me, my identity is constructed through these time objects, through these videos and stuff that I make. But I totally understand that not everybody's the same way regarding that.
Well, I can understand the need to record those ideas. I often come back to my ideas, but I tend to like to do it in my head. Um, I have a lot of ideas, like musical ideas, that I come back to once in a while. Um, but it's not something that I feel the need to permanently record. I'd rather have it evolve and just be.
Hmm. One aspect, one thing that putting stuff, publishing stuff does for me is it allows me to make distinct boundaries around projects, so that one song uh, doesn't stew around in its various variations forever. But to me, that's significant. Again, this from my perspective, because I'm trying to hammer out uh, bricks to build Eric.
Do you connect a lot of feelings to music? Or is it not very
Yeah.
emotional for you?
No, it's pretty emotional. I mean, I think that's where I connect to my feelings mostly.
Yeah, that's also how I feel about most music.
But I'm not worried about sharing my honest emotions with people. And I understand that tons of people are. You can't feel me. I'm
Well, okay,
crying.
no, no, no.
Yeah. I don't know.
But is it? I think for me, music is also a way to become almost aware of my own feelings. Um, because then I'll just improvise and sing, and sometimes like I'll just be shocked by what I will sing because I just let it out. I just don't even think about it, and then yeah. So it's it's
Okay, so
it's
that
it's a
you're
weird.
definitely an NTP then. You're not an NTJ.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I
Oh,
always
for
I've been
for
sure
sure.
that I was an any user since the start.
Yeah.
So
Are you at all familiar with my music?
um I've only started watching your channel recently. I've seen some songs, but not too many.
Because I have a whole playlist full of me doing what you're just describing as well, which is making up songs on the spot and trying to get them to be ideally. Um, well, I mean, I tend to only put up ones I feel kind of manifest as complete songs. And I too am sometimes amazed by what comes out, you know? And when you're in full trance mode, and you're not there anymore, it's just straight flow. I mean, that's the fucking juice right there. That's the juice of life, you know?
Mm,
But see, I mean, look, here's the deal. With your model, I would love for us to both share with one another some of our freestyle stuff. So I can hear what you do, what tricks you got. Maybe something I'll hear and unintentionally incorporate into my own soul, and then it'll show up in some weird manifestation later, you know? It's useful for me. Now, I know you don't need to care about whether something's useful to me or not, but um, it is one of the advantages of putting it up there. So now, if I say like, "Oh, let's trade links," well, you don't have. I mean, really mean saying, "Here, watch another one of my videos." So that's why one reason why it's good to put up your shit. Also, it's good to have an objective opinion about it. You get data about what other people think, whether that matters to you or not. It's good to know.
yeah, doesn't.
But I mean, it's good to know. It doesn't hurt. It's data.
Well, it's not. I don't really. I don't really search for validation in music because I do other stuff with music, and I know I can sing decently well. Um, and I've been playing the guitar for a while. And I know I can do that decently well. So
Well, do you want to? I mean, do you seek any? I guess there's potentially you could potentially get a financial gain from it unless you're already in that business or something. I don't know, but that would
I
tend to
don't
be
really care about money.
you don't really care about money either. Well, aren't you the Buddha? Aren't you fucking the Dutch Buddha sitting there in the non-Holland part of the Netherlands, uh, ego free, caring neither about fame nor money nor feedback nor other people's opinions? How? I mean, what do you care about then?
I do care about other people's opinions. I never said I didn't care about other people's opinions, but it's just that I don't need validation on what I already know is something I can do within music.
Well, what about constructive criticism? Why do you think you're going to get validation? I mean, I'm learning a great deal about songwriting based on the fact that I have data in response to, okay, this one, I have I'm not sure. As any people, we aren't sure, dude. It's the nature of the beast. We don't know how good it is. We're not sure. We just don't know. We need some feedback.
Hmm.
The NI comes, and you start trust it more and more eventually, but we're never going to be NI dominant users. That's for sure. And so we gotta
Hmm?
take a little feedback, confirm shit for us. But sometimes I'll be like, I'm pretty sure this one's good and it's not getting any likes, but I think they're wrong. And I'll stick with it. I trust myself, ultimately, if I really think it, obviously. But it's a good way to confirm when I think, I'm not sure about this idea, but I like a lot of stuff about it. I might get a little married to it or something. Put it up, get really tepid response, and it sort of confirms what you thought. It's good to know. Helps you improve.
I've well, I have done it in the past, and yeah, as I said, I've had a negative experience with it, and I've been thinking about uploading something to YouTube. It's I don't know. I think I'd sooner cover something first than do something personal because I feel that's even a bigger step that I'm not willing to take yet.
I understand. Compton, get fucking damn this fucking dog. Damn that dog. I fucking hate that dog. Delilah, I mean, I like her fine sometimes, but she's a fucking pain in the ass too. Anyway, regardless of that dog, um, for whatever it's worth, and everybody hates unsolicited advice, but my general advice to the world as a whole is number one, go ahead and put up stuff, put up your failures, and just say, this is one way I'm learning about the scope of the failure and how to excise it from my work. And like everybody else, I am evolving as a producer of whatever. So, people in the world, I present it to you knowing that you've got a lot of other things to do and hoping that if you don't like it, you're generous enough to offer me a little bit of information as to why so I can fix it. Because ultimately, people are right, you know? That's the thing. Usually. Not always. That's what I think. And what's most important, though, is you're always right if you go into it this way. If you position things this way, you're always right. You can't possibly lose. Because no matter what is said or done, you say, I've already framed this as the process by which I get good at this shit. And I'm brave enough to do it even though it's painful. But you got to think about the future Wobble. Future Wobble is going to be badass. But for future Wobble to be badass, current Wobble has to be less badass than future Wobble, which means you can't already be good at whatever, even if you already are. If you have that mindset, then there's no point in doing anything anymore. Then you've already then you're boring now. There's no reason to do it.
I think music is maybe not something I do to necessarily improve or to um, or where I feel the need to excel in. Um, it's I think it's maybe it's rather different from the rest of my life in that sense because I liked to do something well and to be good at it in other things, but in music it's
Just for kicks?
yeah, and it's good for kicks. It's good for me. It makes me happy, and um,
Yeah, sure. I mean, the thing is, what's weird is my approach really is the same thing, the same motivation, but expressed through an ENTP. My motivation is the same. Music is the thing I don't have to be good at, right? The thing I'm free to fail at. And so I put up a lot of music stuff that's kind of, I always try to pick stuff that I like and want to listen to again. And gradually, it's been getting better and better. And I'm happy about that because no matter whether you want to get better at it or excel at it, quote unquote, or be good at it, quote unquote, we all, when we play music, are seeking the truth that we hear, you know? And so we all want to get as close to that truth as possible. We all want to have as refined an understanding of that truth as possible because it makes the experience. Doing it, finding the truth, enriches the musical experience in ways that not finding the truth doesn't. So it's not just excelling in sort of a competition sense. That's the beautiful thing about music. It's not competitive. I I cannot compete against any other musicians. It's ridiculous to even imagine doing so. It's my music is my music and their music is their music and they're different things. But regardless, that's my take on it. But I understand that the INTP is going to manifest this notion of um, casualness differently probably than the ENTP. I wouldn't put up videos of myself failing as a debate
I,
coach. I tell you that.
yeah, I think it's for me. It's just a general hard topic because I have really bad experiences regarding this. Um,
People said really
and
harsh shit or what? Like super harsh words to you?
yeah, yeah, there's not. It's quite far in the past, but there have been and it wasn't even music related, but I have very bad experiences with sharing things on the internet. So I'm kind of hesitant to go out.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna be fucking
Yeah,
right there to
I
lay
know.
the fucking lumber because I have very strong feelings about this. When others discourage people, it makes me very upset. And so, I mean, I want to go in there and lay the fucking lumber whenever I see that shit on any video. It makes me mad. You're fucking with people's lives. Those experiences, those people discouraging you, have had
Yeah, I know.
massive impact upon you. Massive impact. Just as the people discouraging me had massive impact on me. All bad. All bad. Fuck them. Trust me. I'm telling you the truth. Don't be
I know you.
scared. Don't let them win. Don't let those fuckers win. You know? Anyway, thanks for watching Talking with Finish People. Makes me emotional.